policy. He added to this. He made this situation so much more incredibly worse. So as Vox's Dara Lind wrote in 2016, today's deportation machine was built on the legal scaffolding of options the IIRIA opened up. So yeah, Clinton also militarized the border with initiatives like Operation Gatekeeper in 1994 and doubled the budget for law enforcement along the border. And this next one here is going to be, and by the way, they list here Cecilia Munoz as one of these people who helped build from it. She was the highest-ranking Latinx official at the Obama White House. We already talked to her about some of her problems, but she discussed. She admitted to the New York Times that they had at one point considered it. It's still you see the problem is arising, and it's not a good situation at all. By the way, the Splinter report is from Jorge Rivas. It's a pretty good story here. You encourage you to check it out further. Anyway, yeah. So here's the problem with Johnson, who he served as the Homeland Secretary. Jay Johnson. He's the next guy. Sorry, getting ahead of myself here. He's making the media rounds, criticizing the current administration's family separation policies in TV and radio interviews. In a Washington Post op-ed this week, he called the separation policies un-American and ineffective at deterring families from seeking refuge in the U.S. The funny thing is, an ACLU lawsuit accused Johnson of locking up families seeking asylum in order to send a message to other migrants that they should not come to the U.S. The plaintiffs in this lawsuit were mothers who the government had found to have a credible fear of being persecuted in their native countries. Immigration officials still refuse to release them. So that's what he did, and this again, it shows you time and time and again, we have had this systematic habit, this systematic situation from Democratic administrations in the past. They have had some things to do with this. It's very important to realize. They have built up the Americans' tolerance for treating these illegal immigrants as less and less human, and have now allowed, through their policies, through Operation Gatekeeper and all the stuff Bill Clinton did, through Obama's insane, incredible, crazy amount of deportations, they have enabled Donald Trump to come in and treat immigrants like Hitler treated Jews, essentially, saying that they can infest a country, which is literally almost word for word. The treatment of Jews like a disease is one of Hitler's main tactics in the propaganda war in Nazi Germany. So the next time someone says, oh, it's ridiculous to compare what we're doing as a Republican and the Republican Party to the Nazis and Hitler, well, just say, I mean, come on. Let's think about it here. Yeah. So, yeah, Barack Obama, also, he has had some problems with this as well. And by the way, Laura Bush weighing on this, I do find particularly funny because one of her main things was her main things was being married to the guy who created ICE, who literally created ICE. Yeah, so it's not like the Republicans. Again, it's not like Republicans before Trump have not had anything to do with this too, because they have, believe me, Bush especially. So yeah, President Barack Obama on Monday retweeted former First Lady Michelle Obama's tweet praising her fellow ex-First Lady Laura Bush's Washington Post op-ed condemning the family separation policy. So it's a lot of retweets, a lot of Twitter. So yeah, I'll go over it again. Laura Bush makes the tweet. Michelle Obama quote tweets it saying, quote, sometimes truth transcends party. And she also wrote a Washington Post opinion piece about it. And President Barack Obama retweeted Michelle Obama's tweet saying sometimes truth transcends party. So where do we start? Obama deported more people than any other president in the history of the United States. Family detention centers also flourished under Obama, and he defended his unaccompanied minor policies and language that could be used by Trump officials today. But it also sounded like it was President Barack Obama, so it sounded a lot more sanitized, pretty much, to officials, to the left. And it was also coming from the left, so it kind of made more sense. So I'm going to read this quote and tell me who it's like. Tell me you could not easily hear this coming out of the mouth of a Christian Nielsen type. yeah, our message absolutely is don't send your children unaccompanied on trains or through a bunch of smugglers. This is our direct message to the families in Central America. Do not send your children to the borders. If they do make it, they'll get sent back. Yeah, it's a very similar message. I mean, a lot less of the hate in it, but there is still it's still a very big problem that we have to deal with and are fighting to deal with today. So anyway, we're taking a quick break here, and I do want to play for you now a little bit of Pramila Jayapal. She had a great point about this. She spoke on the Senate, the House floor about separating. She condemned the separating of families in a very strong way.
This is abuse. It is a human rights violation, and we must end it. "10 days ago, I visited a federal prison south of Seattle that holds 174 women. I met with all of those women. They are seeking asylum. One woman had had 3 children. The first child was shot and murdered by gangs. The second child was shot and paralyzed by gangs, and the third child was the child she tried to bring here to safety. These are the stories of the people that are coming across the border, and all of the mothers in the 174 people that were at the federal prison had not even been able to say goodbye to their children. They did not know where their children were. They had been subjected to the worst conditions at the border. And Madam Speaker, what is this country coming to? These children are sitting in cages on the border in tent cities. This president created this crisis, and this president can stop this crisis right now with a phone call. Do not tell us it is about Congress. It is about the President of the United States, who has chosen to take this democracy to its very bottom. This is the bottom. This is abuse. It is a human rights violation, and we must end it. He must end it.
Representative Pramila Jayapal, a Democrat from Washington. So yeah, that's her take on the matter. Very, very powerful, very strong stuff. All right, so yeah, so we are through that now, and yeah, we have a lot of stuff to get to, and yeah, we'll be taking you through a bunch of some of the lies, some of the misinformation, some of the reaction to this, and some of the good things, some of the welcoming stories about this whole situation. And yeah, we're really happy. Some of the stories we're happy took place. All right, so yeah, we are going to move on now, and yeah, we're going to talk more about this in a second. So, all right, we got a big one for you here. We got a big problem. A lie that is being told, and we're gonna get to that. We get to that for you in a moment. But first, we got this disgusting piece of audio. This is Ann Coulter on Fox News.
Their strategy, don't let people think about immigration, don't let them know any facts. Anchor baby, there's nothing racial, there's nothing sexual. It means you anchor the child here, and then the child can bring in all the relatives. It's a boating metaphor. So, yeah, they're upset about it because it allows people to discuss immigration.
And then chain migration.
But look, back then, Posner said, as long as you incentivize people to come here from south of the border, they're going to keep dying crossing through the desert as long as you keep that magnet on. And what greater magnet than citizenship, than Medicare, Medicaid, free health care? Yeah, that's why people voted for a wall. And I would also say one other thing. These child actors weeping and crying on all the other networks 24/7 right now. Do not fall for it, Mr. President. I get very nervous about the president getting his news from TV because
Okay.
I also have an Adios America.
I don't know if I don't know if that's...
New Yorker is not a conservative publication. They describe.
So I told you we wouldn't get a word in. I told you.
These kids are being
I'm so sorry. We have to go.
They're given scripts to read by liberals, according to the New Yorker. Don't fall for the actor children.
Okay. Thank you for getting that off your chest.
You're welcome.
Yeah, so that is a Fox News host that you see. That was some like weekend crap hole where it's on Fox News where they were talking about like whatever immigration, the whole family separation policy thing. I mean, she's literally she's a horse. She's not even a human. Like, why are we letting her on TV? Why are we letting a horse on TV? Ugh. What a disgusting, despicable person. Oh, my God. Anyway, yeah. Yeah, so we still do have quite a lot of stuff to get into here today. And, yeah, we're going to move on from, we're going to start going into our debunking phase of today's show. So, yeah, just stay with us here on that. And, yeah, now it's time to debunk our first immigration myth here, and one of those is going to be this, and a major situation that is worth talking about here, and it's a big one. So we got Kirstjen Nielsen, Secretary of Homeland Security, and I didn't get credit, I did hear this somewhere, a woman who cuts you in line in a suburban Panera Bread while still somehow blaming you. That's who she is. She told yet another whopper yesterday during another shameful press briefing. Can you believe it? It's kind of it's pretty much her forte. What will she say next? She's the only one of the Trump administration people who does not look like just someone out of a comic book villains club, and that's pretty shocking. So during the press briefing, Nielsen's defense of the administration's family separation policy hinged on supposedly huge increase of instances of smugglers arriving at the border with children pretending to be families, she said, according to a transcript published by the New York Times, saying, quote, we also separate a parent and a child if the adult is suspected of human trafficking. There are also cases where minors have been used and trafficked by unrelated adults in an effort to avoid detention. And I'd stop here to say, in the last 5 months, we have a 314% increase of adults and children arriving at the border, fraudulently claiming to be a family unit. This is obviously of concern. So pretty much this is I've been talking to my relatives recently, and this has been a thing that they're saying, like, if you talk to like your relatives about this whole situation, some of your, especially more conservative Fox News watching runs, this is going to be all you hear. And it's like they're coming across, they're smuggling kids. They're trying to be they're fraudulently saying they're a family unit when they're not a family unit. Oh wait, but they are, and that whole original claim was a bunch of BS. So yeah, let's tell you why here. Philip Bump at the Washington Post obtained the numbers behind the stunning figure from DHS. Given a fuller look at the data, the numbers show that while instances of smugglers at the border have indeed increased more than 300%, there were 46 cases of individuals using minors to pose as fake family units in the fiscal year of 2017, and 191 cases of fraud in the first 5 months of 2018, an increase of 315%. The actual raw number is so low that smugglers represented 0.6% of all cases of families being apprehended at the border, per the Post. Even given the increased number of alleged smugglers this fiscal year and the decreased number of family units, those smugglers, those traffickers, those MS-13 members only make up 0.61% of the total number of family units apprehended at the border. So pretty much there's like 0.6 of them. It's not a big problem. It's not an epidemic like Laura Ingraham will have you believe every single night on Fox News. It's just we gotta. It's the most important thing here. We got to cut through the lies. We got to cut through the BS here, and it's really important to get past that. So, as Bump noted in another piece, MSNBC's All In with Chris Hayes obtained documents showing 91% of parents who were referred for prosecution after having forcibly taken. After having kids being forcibly taken, we're only being charged with a misdemeanor, which is what you're supposed to be charged with for a first-time illegal entry. So it's not smuggling or human trafficking. So they're not really even being charged with these crimes. They're just throwing them at him. And